Hello, everyone. Time to talk about the day. So, I woke up at 9 o'clock. I went out into the living room, drank some water in the kitchen, and then my mom asked me to move my car out from behind her so she could go to church soon. So, I went in my car and I immediately drove off and parked on the side of the road. I got out and I went back in my room to sleep a little more for another 30 minutes. When I got out in the living room, my mom and sister were hanging out with each other, with my mom holding our black cat, which was my sister's, by the way. And uh, it was super cute. I was petting the cat, so was my mom. But then I needed to use the restroom. I went back in, the cat was gone. But turns out the cat was still in the living room and then the kitchen. So me and my mom went on a little hunt for the black cat named Call Me, till eventually I was able to capture him underneath the credenza holding our printer in the living room. And he was like hanging there for a bit. I was like petting him from under. I was squeezing myself in like I was spelunking. But then I ended up grabbing uh, his little tuft on his neck, and yeah, I just started petting him and sitting on the couch in the living room. So yeah, that was pretty good. I enjoyed my time, and then my sister showed me this video she thought was AI, but the video said it was real, and it was like some people throwing cats on like a boat, and cats just chilling, hanging out, and like playing on their phones or just like picking at fish that were on inside the boat. So I was like, dang, that's interesting. But it looked too real for me to call it AI personally. So eventually, I decided to take a shower. When I was done with my shower, I put on deodorant, moisture cream, my work clothes, and then I made a sourdough sandwich with ham, mustard, mayonnaise, and cheese with some cayenne pepper on there. And I also had some Chex Mix cheddar snacks thrown in the container, the plastic container. I then left to go to work. I eventually arrived. I punched in, and my day to day was honestly just like mostly front end. There was like 1 hour of doing carts where I would push carts into the corral, give some to customers that they needed them, and enjoyed the beautiful weather today. It was like perfect mid 70s, really windy, very atmospheric. I really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, and then at the end of the day, I had a sweeps. So I sweeped produce, but it was only a half hour. The other half hour was taken up by the um, janitor for that day. And the most notable thing that happened today was that a coworker of mine that had been working with a company that we both worked for had decided to uh, quit. I'm not sure if they have been transferred to a new job. I asked them, they said off to the great unknown. They didn't really give a specific answer. So I don't know what's going on there, but I guess it's none of my business at the end of the day. Yeah. But you know, it's nice to know what's going on with a fellow coworker. But oh well. But you know, I during one of the everyone was giving the co-worker parting gifts, and I immediately had an idea spring into my mind. I remember when I was bagging with this coworker who was a cashier before leaving today. Um, they told me, like, I think this was like 6 months ago, that they enjoy Vienna sausages. So I thought it would be a fun idea to go immediately grab like a Vienna like sausage can, um, and then buy that and then give it as like a parting gift. So I did that, and they thought it was pretty funny, and they got a good laugh out of that. So yeah, pretty cool. Um, and they also said thank you too. So yeah, and it was a pretty emotional moment at the end. Right when they were leaving, I was also punching out for my lunch. Pretty interesting. Um, Another interesting thing was the coworker was bagging at the time before I was, heading out for lunch, and they were bagging for a customer who was a mainstay there for since we all started. So it kind of felt like sort of a poetic way of ending things. Um, and the coworker made good friends with one of the uh, co-managers, and they were such good friends that they both were starting to cry and like hug each other. You could tell that they were going to miss each other's company. So yeah, I just thought that was a unusually emotional, rare sight to behold at my job. Normally everyone's like, it's sort of like just baseline, like, we're here to do the thing kind of energy. Sometimes you get some fun, creative, cartoony energy that I really enjoy, especially one of my coworkers that is able to commit to the bit, and I really appreciate that. Um, but yeah, seeing emotional leaves like that, honestly, I think that might have been like the first one where tears were exchanged. Like, I can't think of a single other, you know, person leaving where like it felt emotional. Like, you know, other times it was like just sometimes they just simply ghost, or they leave and they just don't really say anything and they're gone, and that's that. So having that happen like that was it felt nice. I haven't gave them like a parting hug before they left forever. I'm not sure if they'll ever like come back just to say hi, or if like they are going to you know come back ever. I'm not sure, but for the time being, it was good to have some closure there, and that was a very nice thing. Yeah. So fare thee well, and um, hope you have a beautiful life. So yeah, that was the biggest thing that happened today, I would say. Um, Other than that, uh, it was honestly, as courtesy clerk work goes, which is interesting because I've been having the janitorial position for a while now, but for these last 2 days, it was courtesy clerk focused work, which is interesting. Um, but yeah, for this last few days of courtesy clerk work, um, very business as usual, very just locked in, not much to really say, honestly. Um, there was more to talk about yesterday than there was today, if I'm being honest, other than the fact that I did see a coworker that I used to see in produce all the time before I was given late shifts all the time, where I would always say their name in a funny way, and we exchange silly stories back and forth, and we were found ways of just making those stories more hilarious and ridiculous as we exchange them. And yeah, but because I've been given late shifts that are literally after this coworker leaves, I haven't really seen them in like, gosh dang, 2 months. So it was honestly pretty trippy, but really cool to see them again today. Um, yeah, I really liked that. That was nice. Yeah. And oh yeah, I guess another funny thing that happened today was that I was talking with a person who was uh, the parent of one of my other coworkers who works in produce department, and they were talking about how this coworker played a prank on their fellow coworkers on April Fool's Day, where they took jelly-filled donuts and instead of jelly, they filled the donuts with ketchup instead, um, and then gave them out to like the produce and the meat department. And so when I, heard that, I had to ask them, "Hey, is it true you did that?" They were like, "Yep." And I was like, "What did they think of it?" They were like, "Oh, they thought it was surprisingly good, actually." I was like, "Oh, that's funny." So yeah, fun, weird, interesting stories like that you never really expect to hear, but then you hear them, and you're like, "Wow, that actually happened." Oh, I guess that does happen, and yeah, it's kind of fun and interesting. I'm glad I was able to hear that. Um, yeah, I mean, there was two stories from yesterday I forgot to mention because I feel like yesterday I was just wanting to get it done, the video. Today, I mean, sure, getting it done sooner would mean going to bed faster for me, but I guess the two big things that I could bring up yesterday was also one, someone like apparently saw a glass tea container spontaneously combust without them like touching it. And so like I came in to like give them a bandage because they accidentally got their finger cut on like the glass of the spontaneously combusting tea container. The tea hava is what it is. And I cleared out the area. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting event. Another interesting event that happened yesterday that I didn't mention at all yesterday. Well, the thing was, yesterday I did tell you the story I told you just now. I did write in the comment in the description, but I don't know how many people would read that. But anyways, the other big thing that happened yesterday was the fact that I saw a friend from high school who was with uh, shopping with her mom and their niece. And it was the first time I ever saw their niece. It was really trippy because, like, you know, we'd been friends since high school when we were in our like mid to late teens, and like seeing someone become an uncle is a bit surreal, but honestly pretty cool as well. You don't normally expect that to happen. And so seeing that development, that change is both inspiring, but also sort of an indication that, like, if things are evolving, it would be good to evolve with the times as well. So I think it's just the universe sort of like trying to get my attention in these different ways of telling me, hey, coworkers are leaving, friends are becoming uncles, you know, uh, unpredictable accidents can happen, but you have to adapt with the times. So much stuff that goes on that, like, if you were just looking at as like a passive observer, you'd be like, oh, just things happening. But if you're looking as someone who's trying to understand their patterns and how their life is going, like I'm trying to do with these videos, like you really do like notice, like, there's these things that are trying to tell me something about how I should approach my time. And I think that that's really good, really insightful, really important, and I give it a thumbs up. Anyways, jumping on to today. Yeah, I ate my sandwich for lunch with the snack and a Diet Dr Pepper in the bottle that I got. I got $4 for one pack, and so it was like, I think like 6 sodas, so like a pretty good value. It's like 60 cents per soda or something like that. And I was watching a UAP Gerb video where he was talking about like different like programs being interweaved together, and different like people who may have been involved in these programs. And seeing that was really interesting to me because, like, I like, I mean, first of all, like the whole scientists disappearing thing is really putting those videos into context because it does let you know that, like, our government and especially something like the military industrial complex is very, you know, secretive and does things that many would find like questionable, all in the supposed name of national security, but it might be more so all in the name of complete and total control over the population, which, sounds bad, but, you know, makes you wonder when you hear all these misappropriated funds allegations and whatnot. It's like quite a scary rabbit hole indeed. And then like a coworker asked me what I was watching. I told them that was a UAP GURP video. They were like, "Oh, cool!" And then they gave me like two peanut butter cookies, which I was very grateful for because I like peanut butter cookies. Although these ones had peanut bits in them, and normally I like having peanut bits in like my stuff, but I don't know why, but for these particular cookies, it felt like a bit too peanutty, if that makes sense. Like kind of like a weird, like, wet, hard texture. That I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but that's how I describe like the chew of these cookies, kind of like a strange texture, contradictory texture. But anywho, the flavor was still good. And then another coworker came up and they asked me what I was watching. I was talking about like, oh yeah, this is the video I'm watching, and like, and we gone and talked about the disappearing scientists and endless energy and things like that. So it was a pretty interesting discussion. Eventually, I went downstairs, I punched back in, and honestly, the last 4 hours was very draining because it was a really, really busy night because Sundays are always busy. Would bag constantly, would just lock in. I didn't even say much. I was just like doing my work. At most, I would say hello or how are you doing, but that's about it. Um, and then take orders out too, and yeah, punch out. Excuse me. I go into my car. I did a lot of financial research to my car before eventually leaving and getting home. When I arrived home, I greeted a family friend who was making chorizo and potato burritos. And then my mom and sister arrived while I was sitting in the den watching a video about the White House meeting, like, a thing that happened with that, guy who was trying to cause some serious harm. So, you know, that's what I was watching. Excuse me. Then we had our papo and chorizo tacos. I mean burritos, and those were really good. Um, I had the last of my nerd clusters with the whole jelly in the middle. That was pretty good. We all watched episode of Fallout of the show where she is ordered to leave this vault with these strange characters. The Her friend steals the fusion energy core to power suit, but then she challenges him, telling him, "Yo, that's not cool. Those people need that, otherwise they'll die." And he'll be like, "Okay." So he gives the fusion energy core back to the people. Means he can't use his suit, but at least he did the right thing, which is really an at most. And then they go off on their adventure. Then we get a deep dive into like the background of the main villain Ghoul of the series, who apparently was like at this like meeting where this like lady was talking about how corrupt their ruling system is, and like how Vault-Tec is intentionally trying to cause destruction so they can sell more vaults, and then keep people under lock and chain in these vaults and have some diminutive power over them. I don't know why, but like they were drawing parallels with stuff like cold fusion and energy, and people in these secluded, like, 1 minute city camps in underground in these vaults, and it really made me like think, whoa, what do we have here? This seems a little oddly familiar. And then like we had like scientists dying in the episode too. I'm like, huh, this is oddly and eerily like we're reflecting a lot of what we've been researching with fusion, endless energy, scientists dying, grand plan being orchestrated under the common people's noses, all in this show at this exact episode, at this exact time. I know, like, definitely coincidence, but at the same time, it just felt so, you know, like, oh my gosh, so much feels like it's being coming true. It's interesting. Um, yeah. So we finished watching that. It was a really good episode. Really enjoyed it. Then we got into like the deep research of like the scientists missing, and then like a guy who saw like a UAP stop a nuclear head missile, and yeah. After that, I went to my room. I was messing around with listening to music, doing some drawings, and then afterwards, I uh, took the picture of the drawings and used Grok's AI video generator to see what it would look like with moving, and not exactly what I imagined. I found drawing while listening to music to be very creatively liberating, though, so that was nice. I then took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, I went in here and decided to record this video. There's a little extra detail I'm leaving out, like I was listening to True Story soundtrack, and yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna post this bad boy, and I'm gonna go to bed. So thank you for tuning in, very much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody, and take care.